Hello everyone, how you doing, and welcome to another Fluffy Guys Mage Tower video. In today's video we're going to be talking about the tier list. As always, every once in a few weeks we update this tier list together and I tell you guys what the easiest challenges are if you're going for the mount, and what the easiest challenges are if you just want the transmogs, right? You would want to know which spec is the easiest for each class if you want the transmogs, and you want to do one of each challenge, like one of each of these 7 specs listed here if you are after the mount. And if you're after the tower overwhelming achievement, doesn't matter, you have to complete them all anyways. Alrighty, so this was the old thingy, this was the old tier list. Therefore we're going to be resetting it and filling it together once again. Keep in mind that if you take my gearing advice, all of them are definitely possible. There is not a single challenge I would deem as impossible right now. None of them are difficult either. We are only swapping between easy and medium. Let's say, like, you could either say some of them are free pretty much, and some of them are not free. Let's put it that way. So this way, if you get the proper embellishments, etc., like, you have to check the other video for that. If you take my gearing advice, put a few sockets, get the correct consumables, all of them are, sorry, piss easy right now. Alrighty, so we're going to reset this now. And then, alright. So we have to change the 7 subjects now. So we have Agatha. Or can I go back? Nope. Alright, never mind. Agatha, then we have Sigin, then we have the twins, healer, tank, and the 6. Now we have, what else do we have? We have the eye, and then we have to add one here. Add the row below. Alright. PI, and then we have Tugar, right? Tugar. Blood totem. Alright. So, we're going to get right into it. The order is going to be the specs far to the left, the one that are closest to the name, or the easiest ones. The further we go, it gets harder. Alrighty. The very first one, Arms Warrior, fights the Eye Challenge. Not the easiest for the challenge, not hard either. Definitely possible. Assassination. Sigin challenge. Probably the hardest challenge for Sigin because it doesn't have a direct... what's it called? It doesn't have a direct healing source. Therefore, probably one of the hardest challenges. Not impossible, I have done it multiple times, but like, some people struggle with staying alive, which is understandable. Therefore, probably if you are after the mount, not something I would suggest you to do. Outlaw, definitely easy, like if you're after a rogue challenge. Agatha has some special consumables as well. I have mentioned them in all of my Agatha kill videos. Use those, use proper gear. Agatha is easy for all characters. Like everything in the highest warrior, it's very easy. Sub Rogue also does the Eye Challenge, easier than Arms Warrior, but also not the easiest. Disc fights the Tugar fight, and it could be, it's not hard at all, it's quite easy, but could be struggling with for some people. Some people might struggle at it because you have to figure out how Disc plays out, you have to constantly shield yourself to damage. Not my go-to for Tugar, but there are harder specs for this challenge. Holy Priest, by far the hardest healing challenge, by far. Definitely possible, but it is the hardest spec to do healer challenge on. Shadow Priest, not the easiest. You could say the hardest for this fight. You could say, well, totally possible, totally doable, nothing too shabby. Affley takes one of the easier specs for this fight if you have proper gear, and the fact that it has a pet just makes it way too easy. Demo, One of the easiest specs for this fight. I'd say Retribution, Paladin, and Enhancement are easier because they have a permanent healing ability. But Demo, you have a pet that tanks everything, so you have to heal that one constantly. If you do that, pretty easy. Tugar for Destruction Warlock, definitely better than Discipline Priest, but not as easy as Windwalker. Windwalker takes this by far. Is the easiest spec for this by a mile. Paladin Healer, Holy Paladin, probably like with Shaman, they have a very close spot on the easiest spec. So for the Healer challenge, I always say go Shaman or Holy Pala. Those two are by far easier than the other specs. Fury Warrior, as mentioned, Agatha, very easy. Easier than Outlaw even because you have constant healing, you have very good tooltip for the imps. Beautiful, like Dragon's Roar, you have Shockwave, you have Impending Victory, you have Odin's Fury. It's just like, it feels like Fury Warrior was made for this fight currently. Prot Paladin, not the easiest tank for this, but definitely easy. Like all of the tank specs are currently easy as well, but some of them are easier than the others because they can ignore the knockback. But Paladin, not the easiest, but not hard at all either. You can easily do it. Red Free Pala, okay, easier than these two. It's also a close call between Red and Enhancement on which one has an easier time doing this. Alright, then we have Boomkin. Very bursty. I wouldn't say as easy as what's it called, Affliction, but Boomkin definitely has the potential to one phase if you have some good pieces of gear, so it can easily be done. If you know what buttons you're pressing, easy. Feral, the same thing with Fury, has a very good tooltip. You have the AoE bleed thingy. Agatha is totally easy. Doesn't matter. Maybe except for Fire Mage, all of them are free fights. Guardian, easier than Pro Paladin, but definitely not the easiest. Resto, easier than Holy Priest. Resto Druid, easier than Holy Priest, but not as easy as Holy Paladin or Resto Shaman. Elemental Shaman, also an extremely easy variant for Agatha. Enhancement Shaman, as mentioned before, a very close call between Red Tree and Enhancement for Sigin. Choose whichever you are more comfortable with. Then you have Resto Shaman, as mentioned before. Holy and Resto take the easiest spots for this challenge. You have to keep in mind, like, as a Holy, you have to play melee all the time. So this could become a struggle for you, right? Because of the fact that you have ice to deal with in the second phase, and being in their melee is not such a good option. You have to use your range abilities only. You cannot damage the boss on the last phase. These all might cause issues. Therefore, I'd say Resto Shaman is easier because we're a ranged class, you have Interrupt, you have both very good CCs. The only thing that would make Holy harder than Resto Shaman would be the fact that it's a melee spec and not a ranged spec. Alright, so Brewmaster, equally easy to Prot Pala. Not as easy as Guardian. Guardian has multiple sources of charging back. Resto has only one teleport. There is a way you can do right now that you can roll in the air and press space so you rush back with the new talent. But like the skill cap is a bit high if you want to do that. I'd say definitely not one of the easiest tank specs. It's equal to Prot Pala. Protection Warrior, better than these two, has a lot of damage output, has charge, has heroic leap, has shield bash, all of these charge in and allow you to get back if you get knocked. So this way I'd say easier than these two, but definitely not easier than Guardian. Then we have Mistweaver. This one is very personal, to be honest. I personally put it as the third easiest spec, but Mistweaver works differently than all the other healers, right? So the spec you want to be playing as Mistweaver is called Fistweaver, and you want to maximize your damage output in order to do a lot of healing. So you have to get used to that one. If you're not used to how Mistweaver plays, it could easily land here, but if not, it's quite simple. Windwalker, by far the easiest challenge for Tugar. Like if there was a way, I would list 5 sets of Windwalker here and start the other specs here back here. Windwalker is extremely simple. You have healing abilities, you have AoE, you have good damage, you have stun, you have interrupt. So the whole issue of this fight, what makes Tugar Blood Totem fight a hard fight, is the CCs, right? So you have Tugar, you have to interrupt, and you have the Worm, you have to CC or heal up yourself. So your basic interrupt from Windwalker can handle all of the Fellblast casts, and you can use your CC, your stun, whatever on the Worm if you feel like it. If not, just heal yourself. Extremely easy. Havoc does the eye challenge. I would put Havoc as the hardest, basically because of the fact that Blizzard thought because Havoc has a lot of mobility, we would add a slow in the arcane phase. And that makes it very hard. If you are not extremely fast and find the image within like 5 seconds, you're going to get slowed and you're going to probably die. If you take my full gearing advice, you will not see a single arcane phase in any of these challenges. But if not, we have to deal with it, yeah? So, 1 maximum. Alright, so now we have Vengeance TH. Vengeance TH takes the easiest spot for the tank spec by a mile. Like, by far the easiest. It's like the whole thing, the whole issue for the tank fight is getting knocked off the platform. Apart from the Annihilates from Cruel, it's getting knocked off. And GH just has an ability called Glide, which you, whenever you're in the air and press the space button, you just glide back, you just slow fall. And that ignores the full mechanic, like the Eyes knock you back, Cruel knocks you back, the Infernal knocks you back. You ignore all of it by doing nothing. Blood Decay, it's a very close call, either here or here. I'd say here though, because you have Death's Advance that prevents you from getting knocked off. But I don't enjoy playing Blood at all. I don't like the new Blood with the Death Strike, etc. I don't like it. But it's not that hard, to be honest. You have Blood Boy to deal with the ads. Quite simple. We have the Frost Decay. Frost Decay cheeses this fight extremely. Like, you have to watch my videos though, yeah? There's an enchant you get and you just stand still and do damage. Do nothing else. And you guys just get healed over and over and over. It's quite easy. So I would put this on the easiest so far. And we have Unholy. Unholy is equal to Fury or Elemental or Feral. Unholy has Death Strike, can heal himself up. So it's whatever. Now we have Beastmastery, which was probably one of the easiest specs for the Tugar back in the days, but it's by far the hardest spec for this thing. Because you have no source of self-healing. You have to play perfectly, you cannot miss a single cast. Maybe if you miss a single cast, you can Exhilarate. But your pet takes a ton of damage, and it's just horrible. It's a horrible fight as a BM right now. So if you are not after the 36 out of 36 achievement, the overwhelming one, do not go for Beastmastery Hunter. I'm a main hunter and I tell you, do not go for it. It's not fun. Marksmanship, probably the easiest for the spec. Because you have a pet, you have a ton of damage, you have a ton of AoE, you have traps, you have binding shot. This is just made for this fight. Yeah, like Marksmanship currently was just made for this fight. Chill, I have, like, the whole list, I have done at least 3 guides on each of these challenges since Dragonflight. So I did all of them in Dragonflight, I did all of them in the Warwithin pre-patch, and I have done all of them once after that with the bugged feast and the bugged trinkets, and I have done all of them again, almost 4 times. I've done all of these challenges for you guys. So you can check all of the videos and for the mechanics, etc. So we have the Survival Hunter, by far the easiest for the eye challenge. You have Disengage to get off the ice, your pet takes all of the hits. You have Bloodlust because of your pet, you have Interrupt, you have CC, you have Harpoon, you have Flare to get the Arcane phase out. Like, Survival is just beautiful for the eye challenge. And then we have Arcane Mage for the Sigin challenge, which takes this spot. If you are not a good mage and you have not touched Arcane before, you're gonna have a very hard time doing this, as I did, because I've never played Arcane in my life. You have to really get used to the opener, do as much damage as you can in your opener, and then it might become an easy fight. But if not, I'm not gonna say you're not gonna do it, but you cannot pull the numbers that these specs can pull with Arcane if you don't know what you're doing and if you're not comfortable on Mage. You have to get your casts through their abilities where you press them and you have like 10 seconds to maximize your damage output, and if you don't, you just don't do any damage. So Arcane is, it's a tricky one. It will take a lot of practice, even with the gear suggestions, because the gear is only as good as the rotation you press, right? So if you have awesome gear and you don't know what you're pressing as Arcane, you're not gonna do any damage. As simple as that. And then we have Fire Mage, also the hardest for Agatha, because all of these have some sort of healing, but Fire only has the barrier. I mean, if you have good gear, you can probably burst Agatha down in under 2 minutes and finish the fight easily. If not, it's going to be very hard. It's going to be a long run, and it's not fun to play that like that. And then the Frost Mage is like something we're here probably, in the middle exactly. Because basically every ability slows, so you have the Chaser guy that you can easily slow him. On the other hand, you don't have your Water Elemental yet, that's why it's not here. If it was, if we were in Dragonflight, I would have put it here easily, because of the Water Elemental. But since we don't have it, it's in the middle. Not easy, I mean, all of them are easy, but not hard at all. Alrighty, this is how it looks right now. I hope you get all of your challenges done easily. If you're after the mount, I would go for something like this, yeah? And if you go for this, you are getting 6 transmog sets as well, if I'm not mistaken. You get Warrior, you get Pala, you get Hunter, you get Shaman, you get DH. I mean, you could technically go like this, or do the Rogue one, to get 2 extra transmog sets as well. But if not, this is how it goes. But if you want to get the mount while you not leveling and not level 50 characters, let's say, how can we do that? How can we minimize your mount? Alright. So Hunter already provides us with 2 specs, right? That's good. That's very good. And then we have, what can we do here? So if you do Hunter, Shaman DK, that would be your easiest journey, if you ask me. Or Hunter, Paladin, Druid. Hunter, Paladin, Druid. So if you go like Hunter for Twins and the Eye, and then you go for Paladin for Sigin and the Healer, and Druid you go for Tank. Nah, Druid. I mean, you can figure it out yourself. I don't know. Like, go for the first 3 lanes of this, except for Agatha and maybe Twins. Go for the first 3 lines and figure out the math, right? See what spec you want to do, choose them. You can see like DK has 3 possibilities, which are in the top 3 easiest specs. And then Warlock covers 3 spots. and then Paladin covers 2 spots. You can figure something out based on the characters you have, right? But yeah, that would be it for today's video. Thank you for tuning in, and peace out.